One of my favorite takedowns is the low single. How I like to get into the low single, I mean, it really just depends. But my favorite way is if this guy has a collar tie, I'm gonna snap his head down, and then as he starts to come up, I shoot into this low single. Once I get into this low single, I see a lot of people make mistakes as far as finishing it. Of course, if I end up making these mistakes, there are ways to adjust and scramble from the position, but for the most part, I wanna make sure I'm keeping my head inside of my partner's knee. That way it's very easy for me to drive across and finish. The biggest problem I see though is that people get their head behind their opponent's knee. What I mean is they get their head out here, okay? So he shot the low single, his head got behind my knee. Now we're gonna talk specifically about wrestling and Jiu Jitsu. Keep that in mind, and Jiu Jitsu. For wrestling, I can just cut the corner, start to lock this up and go for cradles. I can start to jump over, kick away, and escape. There's more fun than that. Worst case scenario though is if we're doing jiu-jitsu, and this happened to me a lot by one of my coaches, Mark, when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, is if my head would get behind, almost every time, I swear like clockwork, Mark would start to lock up the triangle, all right? The only reason this happened is because my head got out behind. If you do jiu-jitsu, this is gonna happen if you go against someone who's like a specialist in this position, okay? So we need to make sure that when we get this low single, our head stays in the knee. That way I can't step over and get a triangle. Once again, he's here, slap, snap, shoot, double it off, and finish with a clean low single.